Hey there, responders and RMPs. Chrissy Brooks here with Responders Corner. Welcome to, I think this is the third one now that I've done. So excited to be here for you guys today. We are going to talk about cleaning up and disposing of fuel and oil spills. Normally, this is something that automotive is going to take care of, but occasionally our responders do need to take care of it. All right, so fuel and oil are hazmats. Any kind of liquid really that's coming out of our trucks, whether it's diesel, whether it's gasoline, that's going to be considered a hazmat. Used oil is also considered a hazmat because we don't necessarily know what's in it, right? So if we are called for the cleanup, we need to follow those DMP procedures. So we need to contain, clean up, and dispose of these types of spills. So we've got 6 steps for our fuel or oil disposal. First thing, we're going to stop the spill at its origin. So we're going to stop the leak, excuse me, in the vehicle. We're going to stop the leak at the pump. If you have fuel pumps and it's leaking, we're going to do our best to stop the flow of whatever is leaking. Then we're going to obtain our spill kit. Usually it's going to be found in your automotive. Then we're going to use the pads and the booms that are inside of the spill kit to contain and absorb. In step 4, we're going to absorb using clay-based absorbent. Then we're going to fill out our FWN forms and submit those to Veolia. So this is what your spill kit looks like. It's a 20-gallon yellow drum. Looks a lot like your salvage drum, but is not your salvage drum. Your salvage drum, as you can tell, has this label on the side of it that says salvage drum. Your fuel and oil drum is going to have this sticker on the side of it. These are your instructions for cleaning up a fuel or oil spill. Step number 2, we're going to stop the spill at its source. As you can see from this video, this is a video I took of a truck that was actively leaking gasoline. Came into the building, it smelled pretty badly of fuel, so I just went around on my hands and knees, crawling along underneath those trucks to find out which one was leaking. I wasn't actually under the trucks, I was next to the trucks, but on my hands and knees checking out who's leaking, because we shouldn't have this kind of a smell in this building unless we've got a truck that's leaking fuel. So we want to get a spill tub, get an absorbent mat. This one, I didn't have a spill tub handy, so I just threw some absorbent mats under there because we were getting pretty close to the drain. After we got the truck pulled out of the building, we put a spill tub with spill pads underneath it so that then we could clean up that spot. After we have stopped the flow, if it's coming from a vehicle, we want to contact automotive and let them know, hey, you guys have got a leaking truck. Whether it's leaking oil, whether it's leaking fuel, whatever's going on with it, we need to let the automotive mechanic know so that they can get in there and get it fixed ASAP. Also, if we leaked outside on the ground, you need to contact your environmental coordinator. We're still going to try to do as much cleanup as we can, but if it got into the dirt, like if you've got a non-concrete parking lot, whether it be dirt or gravel or whatever it is, if it leaked onto the ground, we need to contact our environmental coordinator. And like I said right here, sometimes step number 2 is going to be your step number 1. If you've got an actively leaking pump or vehicle, grabbing that spill kit is going to be the least of your worries. First, you want to stop the flow. So we're going to punch that stop button, or we're going to whatever we need to do to stop the flow inside of that vehicle. So then we're going to follow the instructions that are on the spill kit. So it says find the source. Obviously, we're going to figure out where it's coming from. Stop the spill. You should have an emergency shutoff valve very close to your fuel pumps. And that's just smashing that button, making sure that we're getting the fuel to quit flowing. Then we're going to unscrew the lid of our spill kit, containing the spill with the items that are inside of the spill kit that we're going to talk to on the next page. Then we're going to get in touch with supervisors and we're going to keep traffic from driving through. So cones, caution tape, whatever we need to do to stop that flow of traffic going through that spill. So your spill kit your spill kit should contain gloves and goggles, as well as you should have some green bags in there and absorbent booms and spill pads. This is what your booms look like. They are about probably 6-7 feet long. They're pretty big. We want to use those booms to build a barrier around that spill. So that's what we did with that fuel spill once we got the truck out of there so that we could get to it. We put one of those big booms around that spill so that nothing would continue down the slope, because in all of our buildings, our floor is sloped just a little bit so that any kind of water, any kind of anything is going to flow down to the drain. Well, that also means fuel and oil that's leaking out of a vehicle is going down into the drain. And what happens when we get something down the drain? We have to call our environmental coordinator. So we want to try to prevent that as much as possible. Then your response board, I'm going to move my little self here so that we can read all these. Your spill response board has the phone numbers of who you need to notify after you've contained the spill. I know it says immediately on here, but get that spill stopped first. Stop the spill, use your spill pads, use your booms, whatever you need to do to get any kind of flowing stopped, and then we're going to make these phone calls. And so our step 4 then is absorb using clay-based absorbent. So we're looking for our safe T-Zorb, or our kitty litter absorbent, which is a lot of people like to call it. And then these are your spill pads. They're pretty not exciting, really. They're just a white absorbent square. They're actually a lot bigger than that. They're about 2 feet by 2 feet. And you should have at least 20 of them in your spill kit. We're just going to put those down on the ground and try to absorb as much material as we can with them. Then, anything else that's left, we're going to use that Safe T-Zorb to absorb it. Then we're going to sweep up any kind of residue that's left. So any clay-based absorbent, if you have to use a shovel, you're going to get out that green plastic shovel. This is where our plastic shovels come into play. We don't want to use anything metal, because what is gasoline? It's highly flammable, right? So is diesel. We don't want to use anything metal when we're cleaning this up. So no metal on your broom, no metal on your dustpan, no metal on your shovel. Completely plastic for everything. So we're going to clean up that spilled material, and everything, all of your contaminated stuff, is going to go into your green bag. So the green bag can either go into your spill kit, or it can go into a white 5-gallon bucket. So if it's a very small spill, you're not going to have a lot of material. Use a white 5-gallon bucket instead of using your great big 20-gallon drum. You know, for a spill that's this big, we don't need to be using our 20-gallon drum. We can use a 5-gallon bucket for that. Oop, come on, clicker. There we go. So we're going to follow FWN procedures then as our next step. So every green bag gets its own separate bucket, gets its own separate FWN. So if you're putting spill residue, you're filling up one white bucket and we need to do a second one, that's totally fine. You're going to be filling out 2 separate FWNs. So one green bag, one bucket, one FWN form. And then you want to pack up any unused material that you had and put it back into your spill kit, and then let your supervisor or whoever does the ordering for your center, let them know that we need to reorder from Coupa to replenish that spill kit, because what's more terrible than having a spill? Not having the stuff to clean it up. So make sure that we're getting that spill kit reordered so that we can be sure that we have that stuff on hand. Then we're going to fill out our FWN form. So if you do not know where to obtain an FWN form, it's right here. This is a clickable link. You can click on it and it will open up a blank FWN form for you to fill out. And this is what the FWN form looks like. This actually looks exactly like the one that we talked about with fireworks. It's a little bit daunting, but we're going to go through it. So you're going to check mark your first time submittal. This will be the first time that we're submitting this damage. Then we're going to put in our facility name, SLIC, city, state. Contact person is going to be you, the person who's cleaning up the spill. and then your contact information. If you do not have an email address, put your supervisor's information in here so that we can get an email address in case Avantor would need to contact someone. Our drum start date and fill date are going to be the exact same date. Then our temporary ID is going to follow our regular temporary ID procedures. So we're going to do 2-digit month, 2-digit day, 4-digit year, and then the number of damages that we've processed on that sort. P for preload, L for local sort. And for those temporary IDs, we're going to put an F at the beginning of them because F for FWN, Facility Waste Notification, is what FWN stands for. So we've got our temp ID, any kind of debris. You're probably going to have debris. You're probably going to have pack mats. You might have a boom, something like that inside of there. That's where we are going to put that in here. And I spelled absorbent with an M. That's fun. So put any kind of material, debris. Maybe there was cardboard that got wet. You know, maybe there was a box sitting there and some cardboard got wet. Whatever you have in that green bag, you want to put on this debris. Then our container type is always going to be plastic. So whether you've got a 5-gallon drum or maybe you're using one of the blue 15-gallon drums, or you can always use your 20-gallon drum spill kit. Then we want to weigh it to the nearest 1/10 of a pound. Our state should always be solid. We don't want to put any kind of liquid fuel or liquid oil inside of these containers. Unabsorbed liquids should always be no. SDS waste stream profile is always going to be no. We're not going to be submitting an SDS for fuel or oil that's been leaking. And your percent solid should always be 100%. Then on the next section, we're going to check mark what we've got in that bucket. So in this case, I'm going to say that it's oil with clay absorbent, or you could do diesel fuel with clay absorbent or gasoline with fuel absorbent. With clay-based absorbent. So whichever of the three it is, we're going to check mark that. And then in our description of waste, we're just going to describe what it is again. So used oil spill. That's what it was. A used oil or a spill that was words are hard today. A spill that we cleaned up that contained oil. Pretty self-explanatory. Then you're going to do your name and your title. If you're an RMP, your title is RMP. If you're a responder, your title is responder. And then the date, and then you want to sign it. I'm pretty proud of that signature. I did it with my mouse, so I think it turned out pretty good. Then once we've got it all scanned, signed, we're going to scan it and send it to this email address right here, disposalservices@avantorsciences.com. And I have it on the next page as well. So we're going to scan that FWN, scan it in your scanner, have your manager scan it. If you don't have access to the scanner, then this is where we need to email it to, disposal.services@avantorsciences.com. Once we have that filled out, we're going to do a Manila file folder just like we do for any other damage. So we're going to have 3 temporary ID stickers. One's going to go on the bucket, one's going to go on the gooseneck of our bag, and then one's going to go on our file folder. We're going to put the original copy of the FWN in the file folder. Then we're going to bag and tag a second copy of that FWN and put the bag and tag just like we would any other type of damage. That bag and tag is then going to go onto your bucket as well. We will receive confirmations from Veolia just like any other damage. So you're going to get your confirmation form, you're going to get your container label form, and you're going to get your full container report from them. They will come into your team email box just like any other damage does. And then they're going to come and pick up that bucket of fuel or spilled oil with all the rest of your buckets when they come and do their regular pickups. It's not something that we have to separate out. It's not something that they're going to make a special pickup for. It'll just come around with all of our regular pickup schedule. And then I get asked a lot, why do we have to do an FWN for this? This is considered facility waste, so it's not something that's package generated. So it's treated a little bit differently because it's something that we have created in-house, not something that was created by a package. So Avantor Sciences asked us to do an FWN, so that's what we do because that's what they ask us to do. And that's really it. Those 6 easy steps. Step 1, we're going to stop this flow of the spill. Step 2, we're going to grab our spill kit. Step 3, we are going to contain the spill. Step 4, you know what? I'm forgetting my own steps, so let's go backwards. Quite a few. So step 4 is going to be to absorb. Step 5 is going to be following that FWN procedures. And then step 6, we're going to scan that form to Avantor. So we want to make sure that we're following those 6 steps. Go ahead and save this presentation to your computer, save it to your desktop, save the YouTube link, whatever you want to do. That way you're able to come back to this presentation if you've got a fuel or oil spill and you're just really not sure how to fill out that FWN, something like that. And as always, my contact information is down here. You are always, always welcome to reach out to me. I'm available 24/7. Whatever you guys need, I am here for you. So as always, safety first, safety always. Make sure we're being safe out there. And I hope you have a great day. Thanks so much for being here at Responder Corner. Like and follow for more content. See you tomorrow. Bye.